When students think back to this school year 5 to 10 years from now, I want them to remember the creative, awesome activities they did with our incredible staff.
I hope they remember that we valued them as an individual, that we looked at them not just as a group of students that we needed to get through the system, but that we looked at them on a case-by-case basis and made plans for each one of them that fit their needs under these circumstances.
When students look back on the school year 5 to 10 years from now, they'll need to remember resiliency is our new reality, and we can make it better by continuing to work together.
I want students to remember that we cared for them, that we inspired them, and we provided turkey and gravy through Uber Eats.
I want them to remember two things that I hope they learn from this school year. One, that nothing they do, nothing they achieve, nothing they earn, did they do by themselves. You've got to learn to serve with other people and for other people. The second thing I hope they learned is that whether you're sitting in a classroom or taking a class online, that's not the important piece. The important piece is that you are in charge of your own learning. And that starts now, this year, 2020, and for the rest of your life.
When students think back to this school year 5 to 10 years from now, I want them to remember the year that we redesigned school and turned it into something incredible.
I want them to remember that we empowered them with the tools and the ideas and the mindset to become explorers of their own world and to really learn to love learning on their own terms outside of the four walls of a classroom.
When students think back to the school year, I want them to remember that we embraced change and we crushed it. Students, staff, and the community. Great job, Newberg Nation.
Hola compañeros, solamente les quiero desear que tengan un feliz año, les deseo mucha suerte y les digo que todo va a salir bien, vamos a poder vencer todos los desafíos que nos van a poner enfrente de nosotros. Hello everybody, just want to wish you guys a great school year. I know that we're all going to come out on top and it's going to be great. We're going to beat everything that stands in front of us.
When students think back on their school year 5 to 10 years from now, I want them to remember how enthusiastic and excited their teachers were to see them for the first time in the fall.
When students think back to this school year 5 or 10 years from now, I want them to remember the grit, tenacity, and flexibility that they found within themselves to learn new things, to achieve greatness, and to improve their own lives despite all these obstacles.
I hope that in 5 years you look back on this year as one of your best years. A year that was full of challenges, but also one that was full of opportunities. I also hope you look back and realize how much your families, your teachers, your school administrators, and the entire school staff love and care for you.
I want our students to remember that the power of relationships brought us together as a community.
I really want our kids to remember what it was like when they decided to choose hope over fear.
I think it'd be amazing if some of these students discovered that school isn't about jumping through hoops, but teachers open their eyes to questions and that they can uncover learning all on their own. That would be incredible.
I want our students to remember that we are here for them, that together we can overcome all these hard challenges, and the most important things are don't give up. Surround yourself by people that care about you and keep on working hard.
When students look back on this school year in the future, I hope that they remember that no matter what obstacles we face, that treating each other with kindness and respect will always be the most important.
I hope that when our students look back at this time, they have a lot of excitement and remember the courage it took to persevere and learn in new ways. I also want them to feel a deep sense of pride in all their accomplishments.
I hope that students remember all of the collaboration and creativity that they saw and experienced. But more than anything, I hope that they remember that they were surrounded by adults who loved them, who cared about them, and who did whatever it took to make sure that they were successful.
I just want students to remember when they think back 5 or 10 years from now that despite all the challenges that we faced during this time, that we were still able to come together and support each other as a school community.
Hi. You know, in 5 or 10 years, the kids are going to really remember the relationships that you built with them. and maybe the cat that jumped on the desk in front of you. Have a good one.
When students remember this school year 5 to 10 years from now, I want them to remember how much they are loved and how this was a year that inspired them to take big risks and try new things.
I want them to remember that it was a positive experience for them and that even though we were apart, they were part of something bigger, part of a community that cared for them.